Thank you everyone for joining us. Welcome to this Thursday's Converged Community Hour. The purpose of the Community Hour series is to virtually connect with all of the Converged user group members. These have typically been held every other Thursday at this time to discuss a variety of topics, so be sure to share any future topic ideas with our team. If you have missed any of the past few community hours, or this is your first time joining us, we have recordings of all of our past community hours posted to our website under the resources page. And if this is your first time joining an event with Converged User Group and you're not familiar, we are a customer-led community connecting members exploring Dell converged and hyper-converged solutions to share ideas, best practices, and experiences. Please use the Q&A function for any questions and use the chat to discuss with your peers. Speakers will respond to questions during or at the end of today's discussion. As mentioned, your feedback helps us plan future sessions, so please participate in any surveys that we send out during this meeting. All participants will also be entered in a drawing to win some great prizes. So with that, I will pass it along to David Yuska.
Thank you, Hollis, and thank you, everyone. Welcome to another Converged Community Hour. Really excited to do this again. Cannot believe it's already December. Thank you very much for taking the time to join us. We've got a great episode for you today. And before we start, I want to thank our sponsors, VMware and Dell Technologies, for helping make this happen. Thank you, everybody, for attending and taking the time to join us virtually again. We love to do events in person. We haven't been able to do that this year. Please, we're trying to bring the community feel to you virtually. So do, as Hollis mentioned, use the chat function, use the Q&A. Please, let's make this interactive, or as interactive as possible. Thank you for joining us. I am without my co-host today, President of Converged User Group, Jonathan Toulon. He is out on assignment, but I am super psyched to be joined by Jeremy Goulder, who is the creative lead for CI and HCI product marketing at Dell Technologies. Jeremy has been a longtime friend of the Converged User Group. He joins us today to talk about Data Center Sim, this incredible game that he created in lightning speed for both the Android and the iOS platforms. It's a great opportunity to kind of, in a fun way, to share what we do as IT infrastructure folks with people who in our family might not understand it. And it's a fun way. We'll get into that. It's also a great way to talk STEM and STEAM with folks. We originally planned to have this episode back in November to help highlight STEM and STEAM Day. STEM and STEAM is key to me. I've got 2 young kids. Jeremy's got 2 young kids. It doesn't have to be just for folks with children. Anybody who's got youngins that they're related to, or if they're encouraged with their community, young people in their community, spreading the STEM STEAM word is always great and good fun. Jeremy's got a fantastic way to do it. So Jeremy, thank you very much for joining us. It's great to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dave. I appreciate the opportunity. So sorry, go ahead.
What nuggets did you learn researching STEM and STEAM Day? And I think, Hollis, we've got a link. We've got some links.
Oh, Dave, I think you just accidentally may have muted yourself. But I will answer your question while you're coming back off. So STEM, just to quick level set. So STEM, it stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. STEAM is by adding the A for art, which is also an important part of problem solving. So, I actually wrote a blog when we, I think that Hollis was going to share the link when we launched Data Center Sim back around STEM STEAM Day. And I opened that blog with the question, what does STEM and STEAM curriculum have to do with VxRail? And the answer is they both break down silos. So for VxRail, we're breaking down operational silos within IT. STEM and STEAM curriculum, it's not just focusing on science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, but it's breaking those down and sort of coming up with a blended approach. So, in traditional school, you're sitting in, your math class for 45 minutes, then you go over to your biology class and your engineering. But with STEM and STEAM, you're actually breaking those down and you're looking at real life problem solving, sales, and applications of these different curriculum all sort of blended together, if that makes sense. And so it's really, regardless of how old you are, there are STEM and STEAM curriculum for high school and middle school age children, all the way down to like my kids who are 5. There's still curriculum that's applicable to them. For example, my daughter, she loves rocks. She collects more rocks than I think anything else that I've ever seen. We can have a really cool STEM conversation around, her rock collection by scratching them on each other. And we can talk about material science based on which rock is harder than the other one, which one leaves a mark on the other one. She loves apples. She takes a bite of her apple. We leave it on the counter for an hour because she tends to leave her food all over the house. When we come back to that apple, it's not white, it's brown. And by default, she wants to throw it away because it's yucky, but instead we can talk about oxidation and chemical processes. So it's really just it's just a way of looking at the world around you and getting curious about it, and then applying, again, science, technology, engineering, art, and math to problem solving skills for kids. So that's, and the other thing I would throw out that, I learned in my own research of STEM and STEAM when we launched Data Center Sim is that Dell Technologies has since 2014 donated over $70 million to STEM curriculum initiatives around the world. So I was really excited as a Dell Technologies team member to learn that.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's cool stuff, Jeremy. I've got 2 kids. My youngest is 7, and he's been a rock collector too for as long as I can remember, to the point where when he was old enough to walk on the beach, my parents live near the beach. We'd go down and take a walk, and he would just carry as many rocks as he could get until they would fall out, collecting the rocks. Now he's becoming a short order cook in the kitchen. He's starting to cook eggs, egg in a hole, scrambled eggs, making omelets, really getting into the whole what's going on with the eggs. They're liquid, but then you cook them and they're not liquid. Yep. He got a workbook from America's Test Kitchen that's for young kids that brings the STEM STEAM into the kitchen. So there's experiments, there's recipes. It's really exciting. And, the arts, including the arts in it, I think that's so fantastic. I've always loved music, but, my undergrad is in BS in civil engineering. Lots of math, lots of science, not a lot of art stuff. Not really trained in music or arts myself, but I watch my kids. It's great to see them drawing, but also building things on Minecraft and using redstone. I mean, they're coding or they're creating circuits and all this stuff. So it's really fun to bring out there. It's great stuff. I think we've got your blog out there.
Oh, great.
So that's fantastic for folks, members, anybody attending. If you've got a STEM STEAM story you want to share, or if you've got some great resources to share with other folks to get your kids involved or young folks involved, please share that. I think a great way to do this, and Jeremy, I can't believe you did this so fast, your data center sim game. This is, we were talking about it just as an idea back in January of, hey, what could we do to bring a game, or not even a game, just an app? Could we do an app? Could we do a mobile app, make it a little bit more fun and engaging? And then all of a sudden you've got a game that you launched in October. Do you have a walkthrough for us? What can we share with members today?
Yeah, I do. I can bring it up. Let me bring it up, and I can actually kind of play it in the background if that works. Give me one moment to share my screen.
Well, while you're doing that, where can people get the game? Do you have a QR code you can share? They can take a look at that.
I do. Yeah, I can actually start with that. Give me 1 second to bring that
great.
for you. So the QR code for that is right here. If you go to vxrail.is/datacentersim, and I think Hollis is going to drop the long link in the chat. So if you have your phone, you can just scan it, either the App Store one or the Google Play one here will take you to the download page. Or if you pop into the App Store of choice, you can just search Data Center Sim and you can pull it right down.
All right.
So you can play along if you like. And if you're not playing along, I will go ahead and start the this video. If I can just access the play button through my Zoom control. Sorry about that.
No, we'll get there.
There we go.
I think. All right. Okay, cool.
Are we playing? I think we're playing. We're playing.
Yeah, there we go. That looks familiar.
There you go. So we have your data center. So the way this game works is it's designed with the idea that you start in sort of an existing 3-tier environment, and you have workloads kind of scattered across your infrastructure. And the game progresses, you start to get these workload requests from the business, and you have to deploy them across the infrastructure that you have. You have a certain amount of budget to work within, and I just deployed a cooling unit because I noticed my temperature ticking up. But the numbers that you're seeing popping up are your customer satisfaction score. The quicker you're able to address workload requests from the business, the better your customer satisfaction score gets. And as you can see right now, I'm kind of like, I got a large workload request. It was like 30 or 40 terabytes of storage, and I was kind of like moving from rack to rack to find a set of infrastructure that had enough space for me to deploy it. So you click assign job, and when you're dealing with your 3-tier infrastructure, you're kind of looking for the right space to deploy it. I kind of refer to this phase of the game as almost like you're playing workload Tetris, because you have these workloads around, and they're not optimized. And in order to get to make room for your some of these larger workloads, you have to kind of move some things around. And again, the way the game is developed or is designed is that the better job you do as addressing the business's requests, the more budget you'll get in the subsequent quarters. So you really, in the first quarter of the game, you're really just trying to do the best you can to be as to optimize the infrastructure that you have. There's also we kind of like a lot of the how-tos of the game are kind of fed you through your inbox, and some of them are instructive like that. There's also just some really zany ones that I think that as a byproduct of us pulling this together so fast, we kind of had a lot of fun creative liberties with some of the emails that you get from various people in the company. But the other thing that I'll need to skip ahead a little bit, because I think this is like a 15-minute video, and I don't want to take too much of our time watching the video, but I'll kind of jump ahead to where VxRail is deployed in a couple of it. So, which I think is later on. Right?
So it looks like you can buy different types of infrastructure, and it looks like here you're setting up a VxRail.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep. And the goal of this game, the goal of this game is really to find a way to have fun, but it's really a way to kind of show how Dell Technologies can address customer pain points in a way different than, we have a lot of assets, like you can watch videos about VxRail. We have, a lot of white papers, but the goal of this is to really have you experience some of the value the VxRail and other Dell Technologies infrastructure brings in a fun way. So, throughout the course of the game, you'll get events that will pop up. You'll have opportunities to update software. Things could happen to your data center, and the way that impacts your infrastructure will be different depending upon what infrastructure you're running. And moving forward, we're looking to continue to leverage this platform as a storytelling platform to share updates with, feature functionality updates with Dell Technologies infrastructure. So, when we're making a launch announcement, you can find out about that and actually experience it here within the game, if that makes sense.
So what it does, and I'm going to plug the Converged user group, because I thought that was really cool that you included join the Converged user group in some of the emails and the activities. And I think, this is an incredibly addicting game. I've shared it with a bunch of folks who are like, okay, yeah, it's really hard to, even though you can put it down whenever you want, it's hard to start playing it and not try to complete the full, I guess 4 quarters is kind of like a level, so to speak. But it's awesome to see the Converged user group shout out in there. And I think what we did when we were building this, or when you were building this, and I was just kind of throwing ideas at you, you really laid the groundwork for some cool things for version 2.0, right? So that, I think that's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say just, the Converge user group is in here, and it actually unlocks its own unique event chain within the game. And in case you're wondering, you do get customer satisfaction points for joining the Converge user group. So if you get that opportunity, I encourage you to do so. And it links out. So, the idea of the game is to, yes, this is a game, but it also links back to the real world. So when you join the Converge user group in the game, you can link from the game back to the Converge user group page and learn about the Converge user group. Similarly, there are workload requests that come from the business here that very closely mirror use cases from some of our public reference customers. So and I think there's one actually in this, I think New Belgium is in this one. So, there's a workload that mirrors that use case. And then once you complete it, you get an email that says, hey, would you like to see how this customer was doing something very similar? And you can actually go and learn about that customer's use case. So But yeah, to your question about what's coming down the pike, we're looking to make the game sort of even more fun and interactive. So right now, with this game, you're really competing against yourself, your personal best, and there's a level progression. So I think you begin as an admin, and you can work your way all the way up to CIO, which I know someone on the call has done, and it's not me. But we're looking to in early next year, we'll be rolling out like an interactive scores list. So yeah, you can see here we're linking to New Belgium's use case from the game. But so when you complete your game, you can actually compete and see how your score is stacking up against other players. And we're also looking to do like benchmark testing. So this is all RNG based, right? Like every seed of the game, like the events that come at you are different and randomized. But with we're looking to put out like weekly challenges so you can compete with the same game seed, the same events, and kind of see how you play against someone else in an apples to apples comparison. So I think there's gonna be some fun competitive aspects of the game coming out in the beginning of the year. We're also looking to continue to scale it out. Like to your point, we launched this thing in a very short amount of time. I think it was 5 months from initial kickoff call to publishing. And like right now, when you deploy VxRail, you can customize VxRail within the store, but once that's on your data center floor, that is your infrastructure. Let me just stop my share there because I think you're now seeing my Apple or my phone screen. But you can't actually scale out, which is one of it's a key it's a key value prop for VxRail. So in the update beginning in January, once you deploy VxRail onto your floor, you can I think click into it and you can scale out additional nodes within that. So we're going to be adding additional things like a drive could fail, and then how does that happen? Rolling in things like ESRS support and what happens if power fails or if your cooling gets too low. So the idea is just to continue to kind of make it more fun. And again, like I said earlier, as we continue to innovate on the platform with VxRail and other infrastructure across the portfolio, you can hear about it at events and you can learn about it in white papers and you can go play it in the game. And the idea is to do that kind of in lockstep so that you can experience it through the game.
Yeah, very cool. I'm looking forward to. I know when we were beta testing, if I pronounce that right, there was an opportunity after with that score card that you got at the end, kind of like if you remember the Angry Birds, playing Angry Birds, if you got enough points, all the stars would fill up and then, explode 5 stars. So I that was very reminiscent to me. I would share my screenshots over, I think I tweeted a couple of them, but I was able to, there was an opportunity to send a text message with, hey, can you beat this score? I thought that was fun. I think if we get an opportunity here to maybe we could do some friendly competitions, we could have Converge user group members like figure out a leaderboard or post something up there. Hey, look at that! I think Shannon Champion put a challenge out there in the.
I'm clicking the link
chat
right now. I think I know what's in the other side of this. Yeah, she's
she supreme leader.
I mean,
That's
I'm
great.
just gonna say Shannon's gone. So this is a true story. Shannon was playing this game, and I beta tested the heck out of this, and I play tested it, but I only play tested it so far. Like I played through a couple levels, I found some bugs to fix, and I was working with our development team in Australia, and just like it was this kind of like 300 or 24-hour build cycle. I didn't go deep, and then. Once we launched the game, Shannon started sending these messages like, hey, I got this. Hey, I got this. All of a sudden, she's like, she's literally like she's on the last level of the game. And I was like, I reached out to the agency. I was like, we coded a win state to this, right? Because it's like she's like so far in the game. And I quickly were like looking at the code, like, yeah, we're good. But yeah, no, it's fun. And some of the screenshots you sent me, Dave, I think if I recall correctly, came by pretty late at night. So
yeah. It's I gotta tell you, I was shocked at how addicting and fun it was. I thought I could do a little testing here and there and everything, but what I realized I wanted to give good feedback, but I needed to complete a level. Otherwise my mindset wasn't right and I couldn't focus. So yeah, it was fun. I think there's a lot of cool stuff we can go with here. One of the big suggestions that a lot of folks, particularly my vMug friends and VMware friends, said it'd be cool to get more of the workload movement, more reminiscent of vMotion. Do you have that in the mix?
Yeah, that's definitely something we're looking at for early next year. Like right now, in the early phase of the game, I kind of called it like workload Tetris. You're moving things, to make room for your new workloads. But the only option we have in the game right now is to basically return a workload, basically to power down a workload, return it to the queue. We can't actually move workloads laterally from host to host. So that's something that we're looking at for a very early update next year.
Yeah, but I got to tell you though, it's a really fun experience. I thought it was pretty educational as well. Tanzu pops up. Certainly the Converge user group, I'll say it again, pops up. That's really neat. I shared it with some folks early on. They thought it was really fun. So, and to put this together, I think you did this in 5 months for 2 platforms. I mean, really, that's kudos, Jeremy. That's really cool stuff.
Well, yeah, and I will just say, you keep saying that I build this thing. I didn't build anything. I mean, I concepted it out.
Wow.
We worked really closely with a large swath of the team at Dell and VMware. It's been 2 decades since I've actually coded anything. So we had great developers working on this project.
All right. Well, you did a heck of a lot more than me throwing an idea about, hey, what if we did a game?
Hey, careful what you wish for.
Very good. I know, right? It's really cool. What I will mention to folks is if you do have an idea, let's see, we've got a couple of things. I think, Hollis, did you put a chat or something in the chat on there's a way to provide feedback to the game via survey? And then also, if anybody's got an idea on the game and you can't figure out how to get it to Jeremy, we can get that to him. Member services at convergeusergroup.com. So neat stuff. I'd love to see if we can get over the holidays, see if people are going to share this with their family members and see what kind of competition we can get going. That'll be really fun.
Yeah, I know.
So
I know myself and my own group of friends. Most of my friends from college are in some way, shape, or form in IT, and we're also extremely competitive. So I've shared it with some of them, and we've been firing some late night texts back and forth as well with screenshots. So it is one of those things where it can get a little addictive. I have to admit.
I gotta give you a hat tip for you've really upped my dad jokes in the emails. So yeah. I love it. My kids don't, but I love it.
They're so bad. I know.
They really are, but it's very entertaining. It's very entertaining. All right. Well, cool. So we've got VxRail is going to get expanded in that. Any ideas on like multiple data centers?
Yeah, I mean, I would say all things are all options are on the table. Nothing has been officially baked into the roadmap for the game yet, but we are of course looking at edge as an option, potentially multiple data centers. If something happens to your data center, what does that look like from a DR perspective? And all the feature set that we support within the portfolio, we're looking as possibilities in the game. So it's possible other products to come in. And again, even just like fine tuning some of the way that the gameplay with the existing feature set works. Like, so again, the example that right now, when you deploy VxRail, you can't scale it out once you've deployed it, which is obviously not the way that VxRail operates. So there's, just as a byproduct of the really short runway we were up against to launch the game initially, I think that what I'm looking forward to, near term is going back and really taking a fine tooth comb to some of the existing feature set and then looking at how we can go broader later next year.
Yeah, looking forward to the next versions. That's going to be really cool. Really cool. Well, folks, we are in the holidays. I can't believe we made it here, but we did. It's been an interesting year, and to go from March, where we started the community hour, to all the community hours and all the virtual events that we've done. I'm amazed that we made it here. We are going to return a bunch of time to you today, so you can take that time to download the game and give yourself 20 minutes and try it. See where you get to. Send us, send the Converge user group, shoot some of your tweets out there, take up Shannon's challenge, and I think this is going to be really fun. Looking forward to it. I'm going to wrap up now. Hollis, if you're out there, I'll hand it over to you in a second, but I just want to say thanks again to our sponsors. Jeremy, thank you for coming on and sharing with us Thanks for being such a great friend of the Converge user group. VMware, Dell Technologies, it's neat to see them in the game. It's neat to get the Converge user group the shout out in the game. It's been a great year. It's been a weird year, but we've had a lot of fun doing these virtual events and the community hour. Folks, if you missed it, we had something. November 19th was the Converged Looking Forward. It's available for on demand on our website. Check that out if you haven't. Incredible customer story from Atlantis, Dubai on what they're doing with their IT transformation and VxRail, particularly to deliver an ultra luxury experience to their resort guests. Blockchain, some really neat stuff there. We had Suzanne Pickett, who's also a Converge User Group board member, talk about Kubernetes and infrastructure with Chad Sakich. That was a really, really great session. Check that out. And then, man, what an incredible keynote speaker we had. Joe Theismann really helped drive a lot of motivation to folks with a great looking forward, inspired delivery of I don't know. All I know, I don't know how to explain it other than you got to watch it. A lot of folks were chatting and texting me afterwards like, hey, I need to go run a mile now. I got to go do something. This is incredible. So check that out. That's on the Converge User Group website. It's under the resources, news and resources tab, and that's available for on demand. Thanks for all the members for the support. Thanks for everybody out there. Spread the word. If you're in converged or hyper-converged infrastructure, we're trying to get the word to the members and share stuff. We're going to come back in the next year, the new year, with a lot of great ideas. We're going to try some other ideas on how we might be able to get networking done virtually. I hope that next year we do get to see you all in person at some point. We're going to do it safely, but I do hope we get to do it. As I mentioned, we'll be back in the new year. Thank you very much for your support. Happy holidays all. Be safe. And Hollis, if you're out there, I hand it back to you.
Well, thank you, David. I believe you took most of my comments, definitely echo everything that you said. Thank you all for joining us for today's community hour, our last community hour of 2020. We will be back in the new year. As David mentioned, if you did not get a chance to attend the virtual Looking Forward event that was held 2 weeks ago today, I put the on-demand link in the chat. We definitely encourage you to take a look. I also put the survey link for today's webcast in this link, as well as a survey to the Data Center Sim game. Thank you, Jeremy, for joining us. This was a really great community hour, and we hope that everyone has a safe and happy holiday.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Thank you.